Welcome to the Leather Repair Company's YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please go down the bottom there and hit that subscribe button. It does help other people as well as yourselves and us. So today we're going to show you how to repair a tear on this leather jacket. As you can see, we have a rather ghastly big hole here and we're going to fix that. And I've got the tools here that I need to do that. I've obviously got the LRC leather glue, we've got some toothpicks, I've got some metal dental tools, and you're going to see exactly why we're going to use those in a moment. And I've got a piece of leather and that's going to go in underneath like that. But first of all, we obviously need to get that cut into shape. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do, is to cut that to the sort of size that we need it to be. So what we need to do, we need to round all the corners off, because you don't want them to have like a pointed corner. So when the piece of fabric goes in there, in this case the thin leather, this is a 0.5 lamb nappa leather, so it's really ultra thin, so it's ideal for leather jackets. So we need to round these corners off, because what you don't want is sharp corners like this, because that could go in and it could end up buckling like that, and you could end up feeling that underneath the surface if it gets buckled up. You know, if it gets buckled up like this, so you're going to end up feeling that, which you don't want to do, because it's then going to be double thickness. So first job is we just need to round these corners off, so they're rounded off like so. So we're just going to literally get those rounded off now, and that's what we need to do. And then just trim that up so you've got a nice sort of level piece of material. And you want to make sure that it's obviously bigger than the item that the tear that you've got. You don't want it too massively bigger, but just sufficient so that you can get a nice bit of glue around the outside. Then we've obviously got to get that glue fed inside this tear. Obviously, with it being such a big tear, it's quite easy. Sometimes we might actually open up the seam inside if it's a very small tear. In this instance, we can actually leave and just hold the leather and just poke it through the hole like so. So it makes life a little bit easier for us to do that. It is actually close up to a seam on this edge here, so you've got to try to get that leather pulled over as far as you possibly can. So the next sort of stage is trying to get that pulled down. So we've obviously got a piece of leather here, as you can see, which is the sort of suede area. I can try to zoom in on that one for you very quickly. You can see there, if I point that out, that's obviously got to go on the underside of it, so that the piece of leather on the other side sits on top of it like that. So the aim of what we're trying to do is to try to get that, so you end up with a scar line like this here, which is what you're going to end up with any leather repair. You're going to end up with a scar line that's going to be left over. So let's have a look. So we need to get some glue on the inside first of all. So don't be too shy, but obviously don't put too much of an excessive amount in there either, because obviously that's just going to start oozing out. I mean, which is probably what could happen with what we're doing with some of this anyway. So it's a matter of just getting that glue onto the inside of the item. You might find that the piece of leather in some cases wants to try to sort of move around. If you get any on the outside, just use a wet finger. You can either have a pot of water or just lick your finger and do it that way. Just wipe off the excess. It's very, very simple. So it's not going to really sort of cause any issues to the outside, unless you're using something like a contact adhesive, then it might do. So in this case, I'm just going to use like a, terry towel cloth and just wet that and just wipe off any excess that I've got on the outside there. It's as simple as that. So we've got to get this down. So we're going to feed this piece back over the top like so, and then we've got to try to get this to join together as best as we possibly can. That's the purpose. You've got to try to make sure that if you've got, like we had here, you've got to make sure that if you've got a piece of suede area showing, you've got it. So any excess that's coming out, try to get that picked up with the toothpick straight away. As you can see, we've got some excess glue on the surface here, so I'm just going to wet my finger and just wipe that over to remove that. That's all you've got to do. Just keep wetting your finger and just keep wiping that over, and it'll just remove that excess glue. And then as we're sort of going through drying that, we can remove a little bit more so it doesn't leave anything on the surface. But the purpose of what we're doing now is we've now got to try to close up that gap as best as we can. That's where the little metal dental tools are going to come in. So we're going to use these rounded ends, because what we've got to try to do with those is to push that gap firmly together and then move away any excess glue, and then we're going to use them almost like a stamper to push that down, because we've got to make sure that we can try to get this repair as invisible as we possibly can. to get that tear to bond nicely. And you can see there that it's coming up really, really well, and we're sort of doing a grand job there of getting that so it looks as near as perfect as you can get it. Obviously, it is a repair, so you are always going to get a scar line on the material. It's a bit like us, you know, if you have like an operation, as you can see here on my own hand, you know, you are going to get a scar line. So that's the sort of thing that you're going to get here on this leather material. You are going to get a scar line, but we try to use the metal tools to push the joins together as close as we can possibly get them, so that that scar line is as minimal as we can possibly get. And that is the key to getting a good repair. So we use these are just dental tools, what we use, and we just push them together, and then we're going to use the bigger end one here just to flatten that down. And it's, you know, sometimes when you're sort of doing tear repairs, you can use another tool which you like hammer down. In this case, we don't need to do that because I can use the dental tools to gently push that down. And what we're trying to do is to push the two joins together as much as we can so that they can hide that tear. So to get it as perfect as we possibly can. You can get all the products from us online on our website. If you go on over to leatherrepaircompany.com, just use the search tool at the top and just search for leather glue, and you'll be given the option of buying leather glue or leather glue kit, and then you can carry out any type of leather glue repair. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's on a car seat or a leather jacket, exactly the same sort of process applies to getting that fixed. And you can see there we've got a very, very faint line where the damage was, and we've got a pretty damn good repair, to be fair. So once that's all fully dry, again, just wet your finger if there's any excess on the surface and just wipe that away. And then once that's dry, we can then protect the jacket with a protection cream, and it'll be good to go again. But that's not a bad repair considering what the tear was like. It's closed up pretty nicely and it's looking amazing. So that is exactly how you are going to end up repairing a tear on a leather jacket. Just keep using this end. You're sort of like putting pressure on it, so you're pushing it down because you're making sure that the glue and the backing fabric are really bonding into the back of the jacket. So you've got suede to suede obviously on the back end there. So we've obviously put the piece of fine 0.5mm lamb nappa leather in there, and we've put it into the suede side is facing up to the suede side of this lamb nappa jacket. And then we're just using this tool to push down, and what that's doing, it's pushing down the jacket onto the backing material that's there. And what it means is it's actually making sure that the glue is pushing into the fibres of the jacket nicely, so it's getting a really good strong bond. And that's pushing into obviously the suede effect on the back of the jacket and on the suede effect on the patch that we put in. So pushing those two together really nicely is getting a really firm bond, and it's making sure that glue soaks into all those fibres to make sure that that sort of repair is really ultra strong, which is exactly what you're going to get. So it's a very flexible product. Once cured, it's going to flex as much as what this is. You know, you can sort of see, we can sort of move that around and manipulate it, and you can see it's not having any adverse effect on the actual tear that we've done already. You can either leave that to dry naturally, or you can use a hairdryer and dry that off within a few minutes, and you're ready to go with putting the protection cream over. But that is exactly how you would repair the tear there on this on a leather jacket. You know, on this particular one, this is an Armani exchange leather jacket, as you can clearly see here. You know, and we've obviously done that repair there on that particular jacket. He's come out with the natural scar line that you can see, and we've used the LRC leather glue to fix that, as you can see there. And that's the LRC leather glue to fix that tear. And as you can see there, where we zoom right in, you can see the scar line. Very, very minimal on the surface. Once that's dried, it'll be even better again. So that is how you would fix a leather tear on a leather jacket. Any questions you have, hop on over to the website, leatherrepaircompany.com. You can always reach us on email, help@leatherrepaircompany.com. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget, please go down and hit that subscribe button and like this video and share. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one.